Howdy folks, Skippy the Townie here. Gonna do a little prospecting today at home in the shop. I had 6 buckets I had brought home from my mining trip where I just basically classified material down a 1/4 inch, filled up some buckets, threw it back in the vehicle and hauled it back to New York. I've done one of those buckets. I have 5 left, and this is the setup I've got going on. I took the 6-inch box of my highbanker, and I've run a smaller pump. I have an 1100 gallon per hour bilge pump. Just run up some hose, just a vacuum head. Basically I have 2 totes. My material is going to wash through, fall into the smaller bucket. Imagine a lot of the clay and silt's going to wash out and get sucked through here, right up in over the top and into this next bucket. I think doing it with 2 totes will keep some of the sediment down. Maybe it won't. I don't know. I'll find out, I guess. But got bucket number 1 and bucket number 2. Not sure how many I'll get done, but we'll run what we can. I'm going to use my same battery setup I have for the highbanker. And I also have a speed controller. Seems to be decent flow. Already got some jet dry in there. A lot of bubbles in that mat. Brush them out. Do some water in this 1 bucket of material. We're still bubbling out. Some thick gravels. Yeah, hopefully we'll find some gold. Getting exchange in those riffles. We'll come back in a little bit after I run this bucket. Okay, seems to be working good. Jet dry is making some bubbles, but it's not overflowing the tote. The water is getting murky. I'm not sure, the camera's probably not going to pick up. But along the edges I can see some of the black sands and smaller pebbles in the riffles, and they're still jiggling around. So I'm assuming it's working. Can't really see for sure. And I've just been kind of letting this water nibble it off the scoop. You can see Work all that material off that miner's moss down the mat. Hope I'm not washing stuff out, but can't really see anyhow. So. I'll probably end up trying some different mats out in this. Finding out what works better, what doesn't. I've still got the other gold I've gotten from that day is still in one of my snuffer bottles. I'm going to be combining it all just to see what I got for a total of that actual day. And bringing it home, you know, and running it when I had time. So it definitely did a good job of trapping the black sands. Mat is loaded. That was just bucket number one. I don't see any giant gold nuggets, but I wasn't really expecting any. I imagine, if anything, it's down in that miner's moss. But I'll pull this mat and take a quick peek. Alright, this is what I got for black sands out of bucket number one. A decent amount of concentrates there, and hopefully a speck or two of gold. I'll start panning this down and I'll bring it back when I got a little closer to finished. Bucket number one was not too shabby. With any luck, the rest of these buckets will look the same. Two decent specks in there. Try to lose this glare here. Yeah, some decent stuff. I'll pull that in the snuffer bottle and then get cracking on bucket number two. Alright, here's everything from bucket number one. I know a lot of people save their cons and go through them again. This isn't a really high yield area, and I'm not going to go through that again. Whatever I got out of it is whatever I got. Whatever I didn't, goes back to nature. But, get fired up on bucket number two. Here's the concentrates from bucket number two. A little bit of light material, but a lot of black sand in there. Get working on this. Bucket number 2. Not nearly as much as bucket number 1, but it'll all add up. Alright, bucket number 1 and 2 are done. I'm about to do bucket number 3. Playing around with my setup a little bit. I've had this Dream Mat micro mat for a few months now. I haven't done anything with it, but I just cut it down to fit. It's 2 separate pieces. I didn't glue the seam or anything yet. I'm just playing around with it for right now. But I also went ahead and took my gold wrap mini and mounted that to the bottom of my highbanker box. Rather than that big 8x36 box, this will give me a smaller 6x16 mat. And it's just the regular mini Dream Mat. Not that I'll catch anything in there. Hopefully it'll all stay up in this upper mat or that miner's moss, but I'll run some material and we'll find out. I got it set up at 9 to 10 degrees. I'll give it a go and find out. Water's a bit murky. I was going to change it, but within minutes of shoveling that material in, it'll look like this anyways, so you'll have the greatest view underneath it. You can kind of see what it'll be doing. Can't really see too much, but I got faith it's working. Okay, bucket number 3 is empty. It ran pretty smooth. I'm not really sure what the mats are holding. This speed controller I actually purchased for another project. I want to build a miller table at some point this winter, but figured I'd try it out while running this and dial this power back a little bit. It looks like there's material stuck in those mats. Hopefully, if not, it's in the bucket at the bottom. There's some black sand stuck in there. Better if I had some clean water to run through this, but bottom mats are completely full, but it's only 1100 gallon per hour pump, so I wasn't fully expecting those to clean out, but it's more of a safety catch. Yeah, so I'm going to pull these mats separately and I'll pan out what's in the bottom Dream Mat first, the Dream Mat Mini, and then I'll work my way up to the micro, and then I'll pull that miner's moss and see what's under there. So this is what I got out of the Dream Mat Mini, my safety pan, sluice, whatever you want to call it, on the end of those micro mats. I'll pan this down and we'll see what we get. Hopefully we'll get nothing in here. And as hoping, I got nothing in the mini dream mat, which is good. Hopefully it all got caught in the micro and up in the miner's moss. Alright, here's everything I got out of the micro dream mat. Really small amount of material, mostly black sands. All the material I ran was pre-classified down to 1/4 inch. This is tiny stuff. This looks like it's going to be amazingly easy to pan. Let me get working and see what we get. And I got a few micros and one nicer little piece in there. Hopefully I'll get something in the miner's moss. And this is what I got out of the miner's moss. Quite a bit more than the micro dream mat, but I'll go through it and we'll see what we get. And this is what came out of the miner's moss. Bucket number 3. 2 or 3 decent specs, a whole bunch of micros, probably between a dozen and 20. It's the Alpha GoPro non-focus going on here, but you can see what I'm dealing with. Well, I think the micro dream mats are a success. I got nothing in the lower box, but it's a good safety catch. Got one decent spec and a couple of micros in the micro dream mat, and about a dozen to 20 micros and a few decent specs in the miner's moss. I only have bucket number 4 and bucket number 6 left to run. Well, you can see it's soaking up the water pretty good. It's been drying out for about 2 months. But I'm going to run both these buckets through this setup. And when I get all done, I'll show you my cleanup, and then I'll add it to the rest I got from that day. And here is what I got from buckets 4 and 6. This isn't including what was in the lower dream mat. I worked that material out separate, nothing in it. So whatever I got is in the top micro mats and the miner's moss, which is all in the pan here. I also wound up with a bunch of clay. I worked them down a little bit, but this stuff's like Play-Doh. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with that. Maybe I'll see if I can't dry it out and crush it or break it up some easier way, because trying to work it in the sluice is just muck. And here is the cleanup from buckets 4 and 6. That actually was pretty decent. I mean, granted it's 2 buckets, but it's still pretty decent. Let me get some cleaner water, at least in the pan, and I'll do a snuffer dump, and we'll take a look at what I got for 6 buckets of material, which is easily possible to do in one day. And here it is, folks. my 6 bucket cleanup. That's not shabby. That's some decent sized specs in there for reference. But 6 buckets to get there early in the morning and stay on the river and pan it down to just concentrates. I could probably do more than 6 buckets if I spend the whole day out there hanging out. This was just material I brought home because it was easier to go there, get it, haul it back here, and then run it after hunting season was done. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. I'll definitely be going back to that spot. Maybe I'll do a whole day, see how many buckets I can move, and see what I find in that. But take care, folks.